Hey, Karri Flatla here at Remax Real Estate Lethbridge. It is middle of January 2018 and I'm just going to give you my annual market recap for 2017. So I always like to talk about the broader economic fundamentals, if you will, that can have an impact on real estate and home values. The first one being population growth. Lethbridge has had really good population growth over the last few years. 2017, we had 1.4% population increase in the city, and we had a 3% population increase in West Lethbridge. So that tells me we're getting healthy overall growth in our population, but we're also seeing a migration of people within the city across the river to West Lethbridge, and that makes a lot of sense. We have a lot of new construction over there, new neighborhoods, new schools, new amenities, new infrastructure, big commercial development and recreational development over in the crossings just at the end of Whoop Up Drive. Lots of great things going on in West Lethbridge, and in fact most of our relocation buyers end up buying in West Lethbridge, or that's what we saw in our team in 2017. So that's good news. Population growth is good news. Manageable population growth. In terms of unemployment, we have a pretty healthy employment situation in Lethbridge, especially compared to the rest of the province. So Alberta's been tracking around 8% unemployment rate. Lethbridge, Medicine Hat area is tracking 5.7. Lethbridge might even be a little bit lower than Medicine Hat. So that's really good. We have a diverse economy, lots of different sectors, strong public sector here, and that keeps everybody in good jobs. So we're a good place to be. Vacancy rates were interesting in 2017. As of November, when CMHC was reporting for Lethbridge, we had dropped year over year from 8.5% vacancy rate to 5.1. That's a big deal. So that indicates a few different things going on. We have healthy enrollment at the university, probably encouraging more students into the city, and they tend to be renters. We have good population growth, people coming here for jobs, that kind of thing. Sometimes they're going to choose to rent before they buy something and stabilize in their job and then go get a mortgage. Another possible situation is affordability. So we've had 2 rounds of mortgage rule changes in Canada in the last year and 2 months. So October 2016, first-time homebuyers had to start undergoing a stress test to get a mortgage. And then this January, right now, 2018, conventional mortgage homebuyers, that's 20% down or better, had to now undergo a stress test to qualify. What that basically does is says to the bank, you now have to make your buyers qualify as if the interest rate they're getting is higher to protect them from fluctuations in interest rates. So that has definitely taken some people out of the market because they can no longer buy the type of home that they were planning to buy. The other number that I like to look at is residential permits pulled in the city, and they're tracking pretty flat. I did see a big increase in residential alteration permits, which tells me maybe that's a boost to people renovating their homes instead of moving. Hard to say, but I thought that was interesting. Still lots of new construction out there. We do have to keep an eye on that because that's putting downward pressure on the resale market for sure. Some home buyers prefer new construction. It's hard to compete with sometimes depending on your house and your location and your price point. So let's just look at some specific year-end stats for real estate. I'm just pulling numbers for the city of Lethbridge. I'm not pulling Lethbridge and district board numbers, so these will be different than what you might see published on the internet and the news because our focus with our team is on the city of Lethbridge. So single family home prices have been fairly flat, and for the whole city, home prices have been flat. So single family, I think it was just over a 1% increase in prices. And for the entire city, all types of property, barely 1% increase in average price. So we've just stayed flat. What's interesting is that the volume of transactions has pulled back. So for the entire city, we saw a 4.4% decrease in the number of sales year over year. Prices held, but we saw a decrease in sales. So that's kind of interesting. I think that tells me a couple of things. You know, there's less people that can afford to buy a home like we were just talking about. And affordability is related to a few things, but it could be to do with the mortgage rule changes. It also could be to do with the fact that Canadians are more and more in debt with consumer debt, so credit card and automobile debt. And that always has an impact on your ability to qualify for a mortgage. So I think that could be it. I also think that, you know, some of the challenges we're facing in the Alberta economy, despite news of a recovery, I think that is affecting Lethbridge a bit. And sometimes you see the impacts on Lethbridge later than the rest of the major cities here in the province. So we've seen a pullback on transactions. It's the first time we've seen a reverse in sales growth, I think, since about 2010. So we need to keep an eye on that and see if that pattern will continue or if we'll kind of rebound from that in 2018. Condo market is still pretty healthy. No big price jump there, about 1.7% on condo prices, and also pullback in sales about 5%. The other thing we always have to look at that's really shaping these numbers is supply and demand. So when you hear analysts talk about months inventory or absorption rates, it's really just a fancy way of saying how many months supply do we have if everybody got in line to sell their house versus how many buyers. For the entire city of Lethbridge, all types of property, we tracked on average about 5.4% in 5.4 months of inventory in 2017. In 2016, it averaged about 5.1 months of inventory. I would say a balanced market in Lethbridge is maybe closer to 4 months inventory. So it's, to me, on average, we're tracking a little bit of a soft market, leaning more in favor of the buyer, not the seller. March through July, you'll see those numbers tighten up a little bit and be in the 3s and 4s months of inventory, because March through July, we just have a lot more people going final on sales. The weather definitely impacts buying behavior. In the winter time when it's cold, if you list your house, it's a little bit more softer of a market. But then there's ways around that too if you need to sell when it's cold. So lots of things to consider there. In a way, it's can be advantageous to list when it's cold because there's less competition, less people are listing their homes at that time. And if a buyer is out looking, they're serious when it's -30. So in terms of the condo market, you know, we've been tracking around 6.5% for the last couple of years, or a little more than 6.5 months inventory for the last couple of years. And that's actually pretty good for condos, because when I first started in this business over 5 years ago, the condo market was much softer. So we're definitely seeing the market pull a bit toward multifamily. Again, could be going back to the affordability issue. People are being a little more careful about how much they spend on a home. And that's really the wrap up for 2017. I'm very positive about 2018. Our team's been super busy. Regan and I have been as busy as we have been all year long through November, December. We put a lot of families into homes, and we sold a lot of homes when it got cold out. So, you know, there's not really a perfect time to buy or sell. It just comes down to when is the right time for you, and working with someone that can work around your needs and your goals and make it happen. So that's the 2017 wrap up. You can message me or call me anytime if you have questions about the value of your home or how to get good value on another home. And we will see you on the other side. Take care. Bye-bye.